another unscheduled pop-up live. And today's very short live is intended to be sort of a follow-up to my plant-based on a budget Aldi edition. I am sitting down to have dinner, and what I have made for myself is this lovely bowl of beans. If you notice the title, it said a discussion over a bowl of beans, and that's what I've got here. But these aren't just pinto beans. These are the very pinto beans that I purchased on my plant-based on a budget Aldi edition video just a couple days ago. I went ahead and popped them into my Instapot with nothing but water, didn't even add any salt. Cooked them for about an hour, let the steam and the pressure release naturally. And then I put those in the fridge, and they've been sitting there prepped and ready to go for the last day or two. And then I also used my rice cooker to make some of this parboiled rice, which also has been waiting around in the refrigerator to be used. Now, I've had a couple of meals off of these already. I had beans and rice for dinner a couple days ago. I had beans and rice for lunch, actually, as well the other day. And so now this is dinner. And I needed a quick and convenient dinner because my wife's car had some problems. She couldn't get it started. And turns out somebody had left, maybe it was me, I don't know who, somebody had left the lights on. So I just needed to jumpstart the car and drive it around for a while to get that battery recharged. But anyway, I got home and I hadn't had time to really make dinner, so I needed something quick. So I just took a cup of the pinto beans and I tossed those in the bowl, and I took a cup of the parboiled rice and I put that in the bowl, and then I chopped up a yellow bell pepper, threw that on in, chopped up about a half of an onion, tossed that on top as well, heated it all up, and then there was some salsa in the refrigerator because my son, he waits tables at a Mexican restaurant, and he had brought some salsa home the other day. So I just poured a half a cup of salsa over the top of all of this and put a little bit of salt. I put some salt on it now because I didn't cook any of it with salt. So there's very, very little sodium in there. And put it all together, and that's dinner. Super simple, 4 ingredients, 5 if you count the salt. And dinner was ready in about 5 minutes. Why? Because I had already prepped ahead of time. And this is a super affordable dinner. This is less than $2, probably less than $1.50. Honestly, I haven't done the math. But given the quantity of beans, that bag of beans had 37 servings in it, and the bag of rice had 50 servings in it. So those together make up the bulk of this meal. You know, eating a plant-based diet does not have to be expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. If you buy a lot of specialty foods and a lot of, pre-prepared vegan meals, you're going to spend a lot of money on a plant-based diet, but you don't have to. And the more natural you keep your diet, the better off you're going to be anyway. Excuse me a moment. I need some water. And yes, I'm using a mason jar for a cup. It's my favorite kind. So anyhow, this is dinner. Hey, let's see. Apla Kaish, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you here. Excuse me, I'm going to take a bite of these beans. The most boring plant-based meal, someone says. Well, you know what? Boring is fine with me. I don't need every meal to be exciting, What I need is every meal to be nourishing, every meal to be filling, and for it to be nutritious. One of my mottos is, it's great when your food is great, but it's okay if it's just okay. Not every meal has to be this explosion of flavor, right? Not every meal has to be some hyper palatable experience. I think our standard American diet has gotten us so used to these intense flavors that unless everything that we eat has that sweetness or that saltiness or that crunch or that richness, then we completely and totally think that we are missing out. And we have that fear of missing out, that FOMO. Oh, everybody else is eating this, that, or whatever. You know what my family had for dinner tonight? Oh, hot sauce helps tremendously. This is full. I put like not half a cup. I put like a cup of salsa on this, and it's delicious. My family today, my teenage son, decided that he wanted pizza and root beer. So I'm sitting right next to a big bottle of root beer and some leftover pizza right over there. And you know what? It's okay. It doesn't bother me because I'm completely satisfied with what I have here. What I'm eating, someone asked what you're eating. I am eating pinto beans and parboiled rice that I prepared a couple of days ago. I put those in a bowl, a cup of each, heated it in the microwave, threw in a chopped yellow bell pepper and half of a chopped onion, sprinkled it with just a little bit of salt, and threw in about a cup of salsa. And that's it. You could call it a burrito bowl, I guess, but it's delicious and it's got plenty of protein. Someone commented the other day on one of my videos and they said, at your age, you need more protein. And I said, okay. Well, I get about 20% of my calories from protein. How much more do I need? They never responded. So if you who made that comment are watching, please let me know. How much more protein do you think I need than getting about 20% of my calories from protein? So I think I'm getting plenty, but I feel like I'm getting plenty. The reality is eating this way has helped me to lose over 95 pounds in the last 9 months. And I've only got 5 pounds to go before I hit my initial goal weight of 100 pounds in a year. Excess protein is the problem. Beans and rice have more than enough. I agree. Beans and rice have more than enough protein. And the two together, they're a complete protein. Hi, how are you? Okay. Bestie Booze, I'm well. How are you? Hello, Jean Morgan. Hello, hello. And Princess Dumberton, I like that username. And I cannot pronounce your name because I cannot read those figures. It looks like Chinese, but I could be wrong. You're good. Where are you watching from, Bestie Boos? Is it Bestie Boss or Bestie Boos? Oh no, which it is. And Princess Dumberton, where are y'all watching from? The majority of the audience who watches these videos is from the US. I get about probably about 75% according to the demographics. Christian, pleased to meet you. Oh, Korean, 안녕하세요. And as for your being here, 감사합니다. I don't know if I remember my Korean very well, but that's about the extent of it. So what was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought. Hello, Austin. Elisa Lugo. Hello, hello. Oh, it was good. 감사합니다. All right. I did take a couple months of Korean a long time ago. I believe it was 1989. So the fact that I remember any Korean is amazing. Fantastic. Thank you, Jean. I really, really appreciate that. We're about to get a visit, I think, from my cat. I need to protect my... How is my bowl? My bowl it's getting cold. I'm going to have to warm it up again because I'm talking too much, but it's delicious. You guys can't see him, but my cat is smelling the phone and sticking his head in that grocery bag. I try so hard to keep him off the table, but it's like, it's impossible. He's not even my cat, he's my son's cat. Sorry, I'm a little self-conscious about eating, actually, like taking a bite, that's one thing, but actually eating on a live stream feels a little awkward. So, Jean, I'm so glad that my videos have been able to encourage you and your grandson on your weight loss journey. That really blesses me. I started this channel in late December of 2024. I officially launched it in January. But my initial intention was to make videos to hold myself accountable. I knew that if I had to go online each week and say, hey, this is how much I've lost, and this is how I've been eating, and this is how I've been sticking to or not sticking to my diet, I knew that if I had to do that if I made it public, that it would help me to stay accountable. And it has. I mean, that, YouTube, believe it or not, has been a huge part of my weight loss journey. And the encouragement that I've received from all of you. Wow. Well, I pray that you're well and that you're on the mend and that, eating that plant-based diet, I believe it's going to help. I really do. And there's my cat. Okay, that's it. You need to go away. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, he's a little bit inconsiderate. It's my son's cat, actually. Cat's on the table. That's horrible. I'm embarrassed. So I guess this has been going on for about 10 minutes, and I probably ought to call it quits for tonight so that I can actually finish eating my dinner. It's getting later than I want to eat. As it is, I'm not going to get to have breakfast until about 10 o'clock tomorrow because I try to do a 12-hour fast in between dinner and breakfast. Unfortunately, it's not a set time because my schedule just varies so much. Ken Marin. Hey, Ken, always glad to meet another Ken. I actually work with a couple of them. There are 3 Kens at my job. And so we commented before, yeah, Sir Whole Food Plant-Based Diet. Oh, well, thank you. You're going 3 weeks in. That is so awesome. I remember your comment, actually. I do. I try to respond to every comment. And I remember both your name and your comment. How's it going for you? Going good? What has been your favorite part? I want to know that. What has been your favorite part of being on a plant-based diet so far? Yes, accountability is so key, Gene. It really, really is. And walking more it's crucial. You know, walking was one of the main things I believe that helped me come off of my blood sugar medication, because I would test my blood sugar and, you know, fasting before I went for a walk, and then I would go for a fasted walk. And when I came back, my blood sugar will have dropped 10 points. I mean, it's amazing. I refer to walking as my blood sugar medication now because I'm not on blood sugar medication anymore. Being on a plant-based diet, one of the main things that I wanted to do was to try to control my blood sugar to the point that I no longer needed to be on metformin. And when I started in January, my A1C was 6.7, so I was solidly in the diabetic range. And at my last checkup in July, my A1C was down to 5.2, which is not even pre-diabetic. So I've gone from being diabetic to actually having a normal blood sugar and no longer have to take diabetes medication. Now, my doctor stopped short of saying that I've reversed my diabetes because they want to still watch it for a while. But I'm not on any medication for my diabetes, and it's because of eating food just like this. Feeling great is the best part. Yes, absolutely. Like, you know, I did a video a while back talking about things that I can do now that I wouldn't even have thought about doing before. Like, yeah, absolutely. And it is a concern. And I think, Ken, a lot of it is the highly processed foods that are common in our society. The highly processed foods, the infusion of all the sugar into everything. You know, I've talked to people on a plant-based diet who've lost weight. I've talked to people on a keto diet who've lost weight. I've talked to people on a carnivore diet who have lost weight. And as different as those diets are, the one thing that they have in common is that they're not eating a lot of processed junk. They're not eating a lot of sugar, and they're not eating a lot of, you know, highly refined carbohydrates that we find in packaged foods. So even though they're vastly different, and I think that a plant-based diet is far healthier, they're still losing weight, and I think it's in large part because they're not eating those processed foods and all that sugar. Absolutely. That's fantastic. Diet and exercise, but if you quit, you're back on the medication and the diabetes, right? And that's why I have no intention of quitting, right? This is not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. That's exactly what I was about to say, Gene. That is absolutely right. In fact, it's another Gene. We've got Gene Morgan and Gene Anderson there. Gene, I was literally saying those words as they appeared on the screen, so I couldn't agree with you more. It isn't just a diet. Now, when I first started out, it was a diet. When I first started, I weighed 335 pounds, and I told myself I was going to try a plant-based diet for 90 days, and that at the end of 90 days, I would decide how I felt and whether or not I wanted to continue with it. Well, it's been 9 months, and I realize there are a lot of you out here who've been doing this for decades, so kudos to you. But yeah, no, this is a lifestyle, and it's not just a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And it's true, if I were to go back tomorrow to eating the way that I was eating before, then I would go back to weighing what I weighed before in a very, very short period of time. That's how I got that way in the first place, right? You've been doing this for decades and it works. Thank you, Princess Dumbarton, Your Majesty. Appreciate that vote of confidence and that testimonial, because there really is no reason not to do this. Honestly, there are so many great foods to enjoy. I'm still exploring and discovering more each and every week. Although I will say that one of the things that has made this so possible for me is finding certain staples and sticking with those staples. Beans of all types, chickpeas, black beans, pinto beans, great northern beans, all of them and more. Those are a staple. And then in addition to that, rice, of course, brown rice or quinoa, and oats. I eat oats all the time. Oatmeal is like probably my number one staple. I absolutely love oats. So lentils, oh yeah, for sure. Lentils are fantastic. They do cook fast. I like the red ones for like soups and things, but I also like the green and the black lentils are great too. So I've been incorporating a lot more lentils into my eating lately. I actually got a huge bag with about 25 pounds of 1 pound packages, and so I'll use them a pound at a time. I like buying in bulk if I can, or getting it in bulk if I can. So those were actually, crazy enough, those were actually given to me. Someone gave me like 25 pounds of lentils. I mean, how do you beat that, right? I'm like, thank you. Yes, I'll take your lentils. You don't want them? No problem. They're mine now. I have the lentils. All the lentils belong to me. Well, I've been on this live stream for about 15, 16 minutes now. And those of you who have been hanging out, I want you to know that I deeply, deeply appreciate your time together. Wait, Gene Morgan, we are trying to eat non-processed foods and balanced meals. Yes, absolutely. I don't track as much as I did in the beginning because a lot of what I am doing now has become intuitive. I've kind of got, in the beginning, I really needed to track everything because I had no sense of portion control. I had no idea how much I should be eating of anything. You know, understanding the amount of calories that I actually needed to be, healthy was something that I was just not familiar with. So I downloaded MyFitnessPal, and for the first 3 months, I tracked everything. If it went in my mouth, it went in my tracker. And I think I had like a run of like 120 days where I tracked every day. I don't track every day now because I have a general sense of what I need to do. I know what's an appropriate amount and I know what's not an appropriate amount. Sometimes I do track. I tend to track breakfast, snacks, and lunch almost every day. And then when I track breakfast, snacks, and lunch, I know what I have left for my dinner budget. I know whether I need to have a small dinner or if I can afford to have a slightly larger dinner. And so by doing that, it helps me stay on track. I also track my macros by doing that, and I aim for under 30% of my calories from fat, usually closer to 20. So between 20 and 30% of the calories from fat. I try to get as close as I can to 20% of my calories from protein, but if it's a little low or a little high, I don't stress it. And then the rest are complex carbs. So that's how I generally break it down. And it has resulted in, over the last 3 or 4 months, an average weight loss of 2 pounds a week, and that's perfect. It's just what I want to lose, so that's working out really well. Split pea soup, yes, there you go. And where you are, I guess it is fall, right? Here in Texas, it's just starting to be fall. We're still having highs in the 80s, low 90s. You do track, Gene, to make sure that your grandson at least 1,200 calories, so he keeps, absolutely, yeah. I do about 1,930 calories a day right now. When I first started out, I was at 2,300 calories a day, but I do about 1,900 right now. All right, Kentucky, there you go. Someone told me once that I look like Colonel Sanders. I think it's the beard. They wanted to know what the secret recipe was. I had to disappoint them. I don't know. Well, Jean, Ken, Princess, you guys, and a few others who are lurking about, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the last 19 minutes or so. I am going to go reheat these beans because they have gotten cold while I've been talking with you. And I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Thank you so much for joining my live and for hanging out with me all this time. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Keep your eye out for lives. I do have a tendency to do unannounced lives. I do live streams when the mood strikes, when I have a few minutes to spare. You can look for a new premiere of a plant-based on a budget tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. That one is not going to be a shopping video. It's going to be a video with 6 different tips for how to eat plant-based on a budget. Just 6 little tricks that I have found are very helpful. There will be a survey posting on the community page tomorrow about where I should do my next plant-based on a budget grocery shopping trip for $25. It's either going to, I've already done Walmart and Aldi. So the choices are going to be H-E-B, Kroger, Central Market, Fiesta Market, or Sprouts. Those are going to be the options for this next go round. So if you're interested in voting on that, you can either leave a comment here, but better yet, check out the community page and vote tomorrow on the actual survey so that I can tabulate your results with everybody else's. That would be wonderful. Yep, there you go, Gene. 1,200 to 2,000, that's a great range. Of course, it depends on your current weight and what your goals are if you're trying to maintain or lose, but yeah, that's a good range. It seems like a good range to me. Gene, everybody, good night. You have a blessed evening, and we'll see you soon.